Thank you for participating tonight for AfroEconomics Live. Our topic tonight is generational wealth, and we are discussing how 70%, it's amazing the numbers, 70% of the wealth in our families is gone by the third generation. And I just think that is, saddening. And I realize that I need to make sure that we talk about it a little bit more often than I do. Earlier this week, I had an interview and we're talking about transfer on death accounts. And transfer on death accounts, I must share now, are a way that you can upgrade basically your basic brokerage account to make sure that it transfers automatically to the direct people that you want it to go to. And so it is a great strategy for us in wealth maintenance, because you want to make sure that your assets go where you want them to go. So for brokerage accounts, it's beautiful that we can just add on a transfer on death. You can put as many beneficiaries as you want, primary. You can have contingent beneficiaries as well. So it's when I was just in the discussion about transfer on death, to make sure you check that out because I put it on the YouTube channel. They sent me the recording. When in doing that, I said, you know what? I need to really make sure that we talk about death and transferring assets, generational wealth, legacy, the first principle of AfroEconomics, all of that, no matter what pretty name that we give to it, 70% of wealth doesn't last beyond the third generation. So no matter how much money one generation makes, if future generations spend more than they earn and they don't have a way to just keep the family productive financially, then we haven't really been successful in our money. So because this one generation makes money, that's not enough. We need to touch generations far beyond ourselves, right? So let's make sure that we just address some of the things that I'm going to address are just some tips for you to keep in mind, right? Because if it only took knowledge to become wealthy, then most smart people, professors, and doctors, lawyers, all of them would be very wealthy, and they're not. Some of them have a lot of things, but as far as having assets minus liabilities and having wealth, many don't. And you don't see them among the richest people in the world. A lot of times, just not people with all of these licenses and titles and everything, and the multiple and 4 and 5 degrees. You don't see that happening. So it has to be more about learning how to make money and how to teach other generations how to keep money. Is about more than just being smart. It requires hard work, discipline, sacrifice, and some traits that we really need to think about today. Because if 90% of the family money is gone by the third generation, we need to look deeper into this, right? So let's look at it. Their efforts pay off by the time that they're ready to retire. According to this research, that the next generation, here it goes, the first generation that earns the wealth is the generation that works and is experienced and has hardships, and they make sure that they achieve something better for themselves. So they say that's the first generation. They work hard, they're diligent, and they save and achieve their goals. Their efforts pay off for them over time, and they retire and they live comfortably with the assets and they pass them on. That's where I was coming in. The next generation, they were growing up seeing their parents struggling. This is the second generation. They get a good understanding of hard work, values, and sacrifice, what it takes in order to make money. But the second generation is more comfortable than their adults are. And they remember that they have to, that their parents were saving money while they were growing up. But by the third generation never realizes those struggles, never realizes those sacrifices of the previous generations. The only thing that third generation knows, and are you that third generation, or are you that first generation? Are you showing it? No, because I was talking to a lot of people today, just about, the challenges of of sharing with your children the hard work that is required in order to make it. Because, I was telling my daughter, I was like, with the kind of food that you like to eat, that we enjoy, and we buy, all this organic and grass-fed and everything, I was like, you have to do your homework. She's like, what in the world does homework have to do? I was like, but in order to maintain this style of living, it's going to take some extra effort. And so we're going to look at some of the challenges. Like I put down like some of the challenges of generational wealth, right? Generations are taught not to talk about money. Isn't it true? Prior generations worried that the next generation will become lazy and entitled. But I'm not saying we were just talking about that, because from a lot of us, we're first generation or second generation, of doing okay. My parents did okay, both multiple degrees, good jobs, careers. My father took care of everything they had, like the traditional father pays for everything, father breadwinner, not what they present as a stereotype. The Black man that I grew up watching, was very responsible. And I'm surrounded by Black men like that. AfroEconomics is full of very responsible, educated, knowledgeable, trained, skilled Black men. So many have, and these are the challenges of generational wealth. Like many generations have no clue about the value of money, the generations after the hardworking ones, or how to handle money. So most parents find it very difficult to discuss their money with their children. And what happens is when they pass on their money to their children, because of their lack of transparency and the failure to discuss what's going on with our money, then, the next generation that inherits it is not equipped in order to inherit that kind of money. They don't understand the taxation. They don't understand the fees that, that may be involved. They don't understand like what, the parents haven't thought through what type of conflict would be created because they didn't have a will or didn't have transfer on death or didn't have payable upon death, didn't have their paperwork in order so they could just go and find the life insurance policies and the beneficiaries. So, because of the parents' lack of transparency and lack of communication, it creates an erosion in the value of the money that we pass on from generation to generation. So some of the solutions that I suggest in order for us to maintain generational wealth is for us to start communicating better, right? So we have to communicate. Like, to me, open communication builds the trust. And trust is the basis of sustaining our family generational wealth. What do y'all feel? Do you agree with me on that? I know we're like going through shock because the computer went down and the computer's back up. And I'm so thankful. Look, my positioning is different, but I know I'm a fighter. Like, that's entrepreneur enthusiasm. I hope my next generation has that too, right? Just like fight. Y'all kids will say, her mama would have made sure and got to another computer and made it work, right? My daughter, we got to fight, fight, fight. We have to make sure, but I have to communicate those values. You know, and I think like a lady was just telling me, she was like, oh, your daughter always tells me this, and she tells me that. So sometimes we think that they're not listening to us, but they're listening to us. And we just have to continue to go through all of the proper steps to create open communication for the next generation and let them know what you expect from them and let them know what they should expect. We have to take advantage of every teachable moment that comes about. I had a classmate that about a week and a half ago said, I gotta get you because I have to talk to you. I have some things I need to do for my kids and I gotta come in there and talk to you. Do you know that within 7 days of him saying it, he was like, I'm gonna come and see you on Monday. And he said, I couldn't come in because something came up. He didn't come on that Monday. That next Saturday, he was found dead. And it just really shook me that, you know, when that happens, when someone says like, I gotta come and get this. I mean, he literally was like, I gotta get this set up. I don't even know what it was, but it won't happen now. So don't hesitate. Right? So we have to have that open. This is the first point, no, what I'm saying is that we have to have open communication with our family in order to build trust. And my uncle passed, and he had designated me as the person to take care of everything, even down to the instructions on how he wanted to be buried. He did not tell me that he had done that. So when the paperwork was found, everybody knew except for me. And they went on and they did whatever they wanted to do. And then later when they needed to get something signed off on and they had to come to me, then they told me. And I felt horrible. So another point as far as having a successful generational wealth building plan is to learn how to be a mentor to the next generation. You know, lead your family by example. Like, you know, say that I've got to make sure that my son knows about, you know, investing. I've got to make sure that my grandson knows JB Bryan. I mean, I have clients that do that. You know, they bring the grandson. This is JB Bryan. Blah 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 blah. This is that. We have to take our future that seriously. Something shouldn't happen to you, and that be the first time that your beneficiary meets me. Because if not, what happens is they waste your money. I see it all the time. If your beneficiary is not accountable to me, this one lady, she went on a trip. And so she got some sort of virus when she went overseas for a church mission. She came back and she died within a week. And then her daughter came in and her daughter's husband said, take it all out. I said, well, this is a taxable event, blah, 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 blah. He said, take it all out. And that, I mean, that daughter is, I'm sure, broke today. He said, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. And the daughter had no input. She said she did whatever he told her to do. Her mother had not communicated to her that, little girl, you need to make sure that you have some money. You don't even have a job. So what you're going to do is gradually take this money out over time and take care of you and your husband who don't have a job either and your kids. You know what I'm saying? So, but we have to be a mentor. If our mother had been more of a mentor, you know, then her daughter would have had a better understanding of the time and the effort that it took for her mother to put that money away. We have to. We can't just be a parent. We have to be an example. We have to be there accountable for them. We have to, you know, help them learn how to do what you did. So they're not just emptying out the account, that they have a good career and they have a good education. They can be, so if something happens to you, it's not just gone. You know, because we want to, my third point is we want to pass on good value system. You want to pass on what defines you as a person. I have one client, and she inherited from her friend, and her friend was committed to the sciences, and she is committed to making sure that some of that inheritance goes into continuing the sciences for girls. And that it's amazing, you know, but because she had passed on her values to the person that she had mentored, that became her beneficiary, you know, these things can continue to exist because we made that commitment to saying, this is the value system. This is what our family lives by. This is, you know, what we do. This is what we believe in. So that they can stick through that, you know, stick to your family plan through thick and thin. They just won't give up and waste the money because they'll go, no. Dad said that we do this, we do scholarships, we help people, we send people to learn how to trade school because Dad had a trade and he believed in trade schools, you know, but teach and pass on your values. And then include, like, what if my uncle had included me in that decision-making process on his will? Then I would have known when something happened to him, oh, I gotta get this. I got it. Where's Unc stuff? You know, hey, I'm running things here. Y'all sit down. I got this. Right? By keeping the next generation out of the decision-making process, it can lead to serious dysfunction. And that's what happened. And a serious lack of understanding of how wealth in general should be managed and passed on. So we have to make sure that we communicate our goals, our core values, and our understanding of what we want, how we want things to be done upon our death. And then make a commitment for generational wealth. You have to make a commitment of financial education to each generation. Like some of you you're not the only person sitting there looking at it. Your children are listening to it. You know, that your mother, your husband, and your wife, you know, is somewhere listening to this. They might not even admit it, but whatever we're pouring into our environment, that, you know, you're pouring financial education into your living environment. And make a commitment to continue to do that, to help your family have a better understanding of all of the 10 principles of AfroEconomics. Make it a part of your family mission statement that we follow the principles of AfroEconomics. Create a family mission statement and make sure that you follow it. It should just be simple, short, and something that your family will easily stick by. You know, the family that gets out of debt together stays out of debt together. I don't know, you know, whatever it is. Create, you know, family that builds, you know, that builds wealth together, stays together, right? Create your family mission statement and put it in there with all of your other important paperwork and live by it. Put it on the refrigerator, right? Have a family meeting. I truly believe in this. And I believe that your financial advisor should be included in that. I believe that family meetings are seriously important because they stop all of the drama when someone passes. When you say exactly what you want it to be done, when you woman up, when you man up, and you say, this goes to this goes to that, this or this, and that's what I want in front of everybody that is significant, you know, at that makes. You might even have like a disabled family member. And, you know, I get calls all the time and they go, oh, and my son, or, oh, my daughter has this, and I need to, you know, you gotta communicate that to the family, especially, you know, to the person that is going to need to have care upon your death. If you die first, how are you going to take care of this person who is completely dependent on you for their care? And I don't know, I was just having, it's very hard for when someone calls me and they hit me with an issue like that, and I go, well, you know what, we need to have more conversations. You need to join AfroEconomics. We need to really talk this through. It's not fair to you to want just a quick, like, what do I think? You know what I mean? Just like that in your complimentary consultation. You're doing yourself a disservice. But it happens all the time, because we feel like it's going to be a quick fix. But generational wealth building and maintenance is not anything that you can do quickly. It's a process. So that discipline that I'm constantly asking you to bring into your financial life, it has to be all over you, all through your family, all of it. We have to become obsessed that our family is going to have wealth for many generations. If you don't, that broke bug will catch up with your family and very quickly. 90% of the money is gone by the third generation? That is scary. We can't afford to do that. You can also consider getting a third party involved, like hiring a trustee at a law firm. Lawyer would love, like, if you feel that your family is totally cannot get along, then you might want to get a third party point of view, a legal point of view involved. And that will allow you to eliminate the emotions from family member having to be in charge. But you'll have, a trustee set aside, appointed in your legal documents that ensure that your wealth is properly managed and distributed according to what you said. You will be amazed at how many people put up executors in the family for their will, and the people just spend the money and distribute it the way they want, not even following what it said in the will. Just do it and at whatever time they want. They take their time. It's like something comes over them and they just get this, like, they go into a coma, and people are like, well, are you going to distribute the money? And they go, when I choose to. It's just, so if you feel that your family is going to be complicated, please consider getting legal help and setting up a third-party trustee and have a plan of action of how you want to have things distributed to keep everything together. That really, that will protect generational wealth in the way that they won't be able to spend it anyway, except for how you say in your documents. And the trustee will be controlling everything. That's a pro, and it's also a con. That's what I don't like about it. Because when people want to get access, and that happens a lot, and then they're trying to get through the trustee, and the trustee's like, no, this is what it says. So you have to realize that when you do that, your family is losing control. And there's going to be fees involved. So, and then also, I want you to make a plan, right? All of this is about having a plan, having the mission statement, having the meeting, being a mentor, being an example, and bringing in a financial professional who is excited about helping your family build wealth. Have someone who really is experienced with dealing with these type of issues. Like I was saying, I love having family meetings. I realize how necessary that is. If you don't get in AfroEconomics, get in something. Get in some, find some financial professional that you think can help you and your family continue your growth towards generational wealth. You all have been so quiet. I should quickly, we had a rough start, y'all, but we did it. Didn't we, Delia? So in closing, I'm going to go backwards over my points, my tips. Make a generational wealth plan. Our third point is consider getting an impartial trustee, right? That's where the legal help will get involved. Have a family meeting. Talk about it. Be transparent. Create a family mission statement of what you stand for. Make a commitment to financial education and talk to your kids about financial education. I've seen research where it shows that bad financial habits can be inherited. You know, that it's amazing, but your kids are watching what you do. Keep the next generation, you know, involved in all of the decision making as much as you can, because the more you communicate, the more hopefully you will develop trust. I know that you know, too often we feel like they're not going to be able to handle it. Well, you know, we're all going to leave this planet at some point. So make sure that you're developing values in your beneficiaries as quickly as possible. Even if your beneficiary is your spouse, you need to develop values in them about what you represent. If not, they will waste your money and it will not make it to the next generation. So be very careful when you think, oh, I don't have to worry about my husband or my wife, because see, what you realize is if you pass and they get it, it might even never even get to the next generation because of what they do. So if you want things to not go to the spouse because you're not sure how they're going to handle things, then you need to make sure you get those beneficiary forms updated. If you need to set up a trust where they can control how the spouse spends the money, then you need to make sure you do that. I was in church one Sunday, and this gentleman walked up to me and he said, I have a terminal illness and I need you to help me get these things set up for my wife. And I said, oh, you know, everything will be okay. He said, no, I am dying. And then so he started coming to meet with me on a regular. We got everything set up for his wife. And then he passed like clockwork. It was like, it's not, I just got to get these things straight. So I can appreciate how open he was. I can appreciate his commitment to making sure that everything, you know, was okay for him. You know, that he had fought a good fight. But I can appreciate, we do need to stay in touch with the reality of it is, you know, our time here is temporary, but the impact that we can make can last forever. It can last forever. God bless y'all. Thank you for hanging in there with me. All in all, I think we only lost 2 people who fell off. I know. Yes, indeed. No, I can't. And look, and it won't, it might, like y'all might be able to see me, but you can't put your comments. I can't see your name. Yeah, buddy. Oh, what a night. Yes, indeed. Thank you. God bless you. I know y'all spoil me so bad. You can't talk to me right now. I can't see your comments, and y'all are always so encouraging. But just know I feel your positive vibes. I feel you. God bless you. I love you all. Thank you for sharing your evening with me. And this will be recorded. And if you say, let's do it again, let's try from the top another day, let me know. The members only meeting is Friday morning. Y'all be blessed. Don't forget,